When we write a sales page at IWT, our goal isn't just for people to be interested in the product. That's not enough. We want them to be salivating by the time that we even mention our product. And that is exactly why we spend 80% of our time on the first half of the sales page. Did you catch that? 80% of our time writing the sales page is spent on the first half of it. And that's the part where we build desire for the product. So the next thing our copywriter does is write a full first draft of the entire sales page, starting with the first half. Now he has 6 things he needs to do in this section. And not surprisingly, we call it the 6-step desire formula. Step 1, grab the reader's attention. Step 2, paint the dream of what life would look like with our reader's problem solved. Step 3, describe the pain that the reader is going through. Step 4, describe what they've tried before to fix the problem and why it hasn't worked. Step 5, only at step 5 are we introducing the solution that we're offering in our product. Only at step 5. And finally, step 6, overcome their objection of why they can't achieve the dream. So, where does this information come from? It all sounds great, but where do we get this stuff from? Well, the positioning document. If you remember, our copywriter has already gone through the positioning document to scour for our customers' hopes, fears, pains, and dreams. And now we get to plug them into the right places. Let's take a look at the first draft that our copywriter wrote. Let's see how he did. I'll show you some excerpts on screen, but you can actually download the full draft below and read along with me. What do you notice about the top half of this draft? Does it hit each of the 6 steps in the desire formula? Well, let's take a look. Step 1, grab the reader's attention. I could be doing so much more. The headline is always responsible for the first element, grabbing the reader's attention and making them read on. Now here's a little quick tip. If you can't get the reader past the first 10 seconds on the page, all the work you've done is wasted. All the customer research, all the design, all the technology setup, all the cool little frameworks you put into your product. If your prospect leaves your sales page after 10 seconds, forget about it. It's all out the window. That's why we spend so much time on this area. Sometimes we'll use a headline that describes the benefit the customer will get from our product. For example, in our ZTL sales page, the headline is very benefit driven. Break the shackles of your job, your calendar, and your 9-to-5 income. But that's not the only way to do it. We can also use a headline that describes the customer's primary problem. Okay? Sometimes solution, sometimes problem. Notice this one is written as if the reader were saying it out loud to themselves. I could be doing so much more. The goal here is to use a statement that is so real and so true that the reader sees it and thinks, I was just thinking that. Oh my God, you're in my head. And if you do that right, that reader is going to be compelled to read on. Now, this is why talking to real customers in our research phase is so important. And keep in mind, by the way, there's no right answer. I talked about a benefit-driven headline. I talked about a problem-oriented headline. You could choose either one. You could choose 20 different headlines. In fact, any perfectly good copywriter could come up with another perfectly good headline. So trust your gut. And remember, you will improve over time. Now, after the headline, the other 5 elements can be arranged in any order. It's kind of surprising, but it can be done. Some sales pages start by painting the dream. Others begin by describing the pain. And in this case, our copywriter went with describing the pain. Directly after the headline, our writer describes the pain that our customers are going through right now. For example, day after day you wake up, go to work, come home, Netflix. Deep down, you feel like you can be doing so much more. But right now, you're just kind of coasting. Now, we want our reader to think, ugh, yes, That's exactly how I've been feeling. And this is counterintuitive, since most people tend to jump right to solutions. But we like spending time truly articulating the problems and showing that we understand them. Only a real expert knows all the dimensions and dynamics of a problem. So when we show them that we understand those problems, we earn their trust. Guys, this is a really important point. Your natural tendency is going to want to be to jump to the solutions, specifically to jump to your product. Oh, we got 4 videos. They're so cool. We have these cool frameworks. Worked with 68,000 other people, testimonials. Stop. Make sure that you articulate your understanding of the problem. This is going to feel unnatural at first, but it's worth the time. That's why we spend 80% of our time on a sales page on the first half. And the primary part of that is articulating our understanding of the problem. Okay? So take this to heart. It's counterintuitive, but it is the key to writing great sales pages. Okay? 3, paint the dream. When did this slump become so damn comfortable? Very compelling. Right under this subhead, the writer begins to hit on a third element of building desire, and that is painting the dream of what life could look like with the problem solved. What if you were one of those winners that you keep seeing online? The version of yourself you imagined years ago before getting caught in the grooves of life and work. Monday morning you wake up, no alarm. You pull off the covers, you smile. You're in the best shape of your life. It's important to provide hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you are creating material to help people, you've got to believe that. And more importantly, you've got to be able to help people do that. So if you're truly effective, you've seen what the positive results can be. So write them here. Our hope here is that the reader is now leaning in and starting to think, hey, maybe things could be different. Now remember, our writer wouldn't know any of this without the deep customer research we did before we started making the product. I'm just going to keep hammering that home, guys. It's why it's so important to follow a natural progression, starting with customer research, because this is where you really start to use the fruits of your labor. All right, number 4, describe what they've tried before and why it doesn't work. Why aren't we living like that? After giving the reader a taste of what life could be like, the writer pulls back and explains why the reader hasn't gotten there yet. Now, we know from our positioning doc that the customer is in a vicious cycle of feeling motivated, fizzling out, and then trying the next shiny tactic. Does that sound familiar to anyone? I think it resonates with a lot of us. So what do we have? We have something like this. Every once in a while, you get on a roll. Things come together. Motivation rolls in, but it always fizzles out. So you start looking for that edge, that first domino that will knock down the rest automatically. Morning routines, get up early, make your bed, journal, meditate, visualize, breathe, picture your goal, juice, low carb, probiotics. If I just get my energy right, then I'll feel like being more productive. But nothing sticks. I want to point out a couple of things here. Number 1, the copy is not fully fleshed out in any of these things. It's basically ideas in plain English. That's fine. You don't need to be wordsmithing and polishing every single word. You just want to get the basic ideas out in plain English. Okay? The other thing I want to point out is that this helps us build trust by showing the reader that we get what they're going through. We really like the push and pull of emotions here. It's not all positive. There are also negatives. And there is power in candidly acknowledging the good and the bad. Number 5, reveal the solution. What are we missing? There has to be something deeper. Well, now it's time to show them what does work. This is where we reveal the solution that our product is designed to provide. And in this case, it's a shift in mindset, or what we call mental mastery. There's one thing separating you from living the life you're capable of, and that's your mindset. Think about Tim Ferriss or Conor McGregor or Sheryl Sandberg. What separates them is a trait they developed, something I call mental mastery. Usually, we'll also include a short paragraph describing how we, or me, Ramit, discovered this solution and how it's benefited us. Notice that only now are we beginning to turn to solutions, and really only a little bit. I want to point this out because it really shows you how much time we spend emphasizing an understanding of the problem, the costs, and even the dynamics of the problem. Okay? Number 6, address objections. Which of these invisible scripts are holding you back? By this point, if we've done our job, they're starting to realize, hey, this is a problem. And wow, it's actually more of a problem than I realized. The way you wrote it, you truly understand me. And you're telling me there could be a light at the end of the tunnel? Okay, I'm interested, but... Notice that but? That's where people start to have objections. And this is where we want to address those objections. In almost every IWT sales page, we address these head on. For example, I need a new tactic. Winners don't face the same challenges I do. I already work hard. We want to give a solid answer for each of those objections. I want to remind you that after the headline, the other 5 key points can be hit in any order as long as we hit them. Now pause and take a few minutes to read through this first draft of part 1 and then come back here. I'm going to ask you what you think. All right, welcome back. So what do you think? This is a good sales page. Technically, we've hit all the points we need to hit. Most people, candidly, would be pretty excited to publish this as a sales page for their product, but we want to go deeper. We want to go deeper to make it amazing. Now, I actually want to pause here because our copywriter, Jackson, will continue drafting the second half of the sales page, and I'll show you what he put together in a few minutes. But first, I want to continue with this first half, the most important part, which is building desire. And I want to show you what it takes to go from good to amazing. We're going to cover that in the next video. I'll see you there.